Hi everyone, welcome back. So the very first commentary video I made on this channel was on the Disney Channel original movie Camp Rock. And after I made that, my plan was to make a whole bunch more videos on other DCOMs because they're all really crazy or really cringy and just great content and also kind of just fun to watch. And I was thinking, yeah, maybe I could even do all of them. Yeah, this could be like my thing on YouTube. And then Disney... So the video is still up because like all of my content, it falls pretty decisively under fair use, but Disney's aggressive copyright system was just such a pain to deal with that I kind of swore off all Disney content for quite a while. But you know what? I kind of feel like I want to take a risk today. Yeah, I'm feeling a little wacky, maybe a little zany. So yeah, let's do it. Let's cover another DCOM. Do you remember that era where everybody was just obsessed with High School Musical? Well, okay, kids were obsessed with High School Musical. If you were in your 40s in 2006 and you were obsessed with Troy and Gabriella, I mean, I'm not going to judge you too hard, but that's a little unusual. But really, I think people seriously underestimate just how popular High School Musical was back then. Like, it was huge. There were t-shirts and board games and toys and stage shows and Disney World parades. I want to make a video eventually on kind of like the cult of High School Musical, you know, all of the stuff surrounding it. But for now, I thought we'd just take a look at where it all started with the original movie itself. So the movie begins on New Year's Eve at a ski resort, where two separate high schoolers, Troy, the basketball star, and Gabriella, the academic whiz kid, are celebrating with their family. They're convinced by their parents to attend the resort's teen party, where they meet for the first time when they're both forced to do a karaoke duet together, the start of something new. The something new being the movie. And this opening scene introduces someone who I've decided is my favourite minor character in the series.
Howdy, ma'am.
I don't have much to say about this opening scene, apart from when they perform on stage, the TV screens are showing footage of the party that they're at, which would make sense if they were like showing the people performing karaoke, but they're not, they're just sort of showing the people in the crowd, and the cameras don't cut away from them ever, which must be really uncomfortable for that group of kids.
Hey, you know what? Someday you guys might thank me for this. Or not.
But the song goes well, and Troy and Gabriella form a connection and a realization that they can both sing. They ring in the new year together outside and quickly exchange numbers, with Troy taking the most awkward selfie imaginable.
Oh, okay, cool. There you go.
How could he even see what he was taking a picture of? And then they part ways, assuming they'll never see each other ever again. And they never do. Well, okay, not really, but come on, it would be kind of fun. And now it's the first day back at East High, which is apparently in New Mexico, which I guess was a detail I just never picked up on back in 2006. Probably because I just didn't know what New Mexico was. So why did they just applaud when he got off the bus? Can you imagine people just cheering for you when you showed up at school every day? If that really is Troy's life, I'm surprised he's not just the worst person imaginable.
Hey guys, Happy New Year. Yeah, it's gonna be a happy Wildcat New Year, man.
Okay, Chad, maybe just calm down a bit. It's like 8 AM, this is way too much right now. Also, what's up with all those watches? What do you need 3 of them for, Chad? And also, isn't this just like the first thing in the morning in January? Why is it so sunny? At this point, we get introduced to the other major characters in the movie. There's Chad, who's Troy's best friend, Taylor, who ends up becoming friends with Gabriella, and of course the most iconic duo of the entire franchise, Sharpay and Ryan. Sharpay being probably the best character, and walks around with this like Nintendo DS as a phone. Speaking of phones, in the next scene, all of the major characters get detention for using their phones in drama class with Miss Darbus, as the new student arrives, who just so happens to be Gabriella. And then they all leave the class after literally like 90 seconds. Anyway, after class in the corridor, Troy and Gabriella finally get to talk for the first time since the ski resort, and you know what, I don't really care about that. What I care about in this scene is all of the extras following them in the corridor. Just like in Camp Rock, it's really fun to watch all the background actors in this movie because so many of them clearly have no idea what they're doing. Like this girl in this scene who just looks directly into the camera. Or the best moment, which is a little bit later on, where there's this girl that's following Troy and Chad down the corridor, and she runs out of space, so she just kind of walks into a wall. Speaking of background actors, you can always tell who the speaking characters are in these movies because they all look just 5 years older than everyone else in the scene. I mean, this kid must be like 9. After Troy and Gabriella meet, the main plot point gets introduced, which is that there are upcoming auditions for a school musical called Twinkletown. And of course, Sharpay and Ryan are just guaranteed to get the lead roles. Maybe. So we don't really get told much about this musical over the course of the movie, because it basically just serves as a plot point. But I've always been so curious about Twinkletown, and there actually are various details that are scattered throughout the movie. Like in the detention scene, we see various props from the musical, and we also know 2 songs, What I've Been Looking For and Breaking Free. And we also know some other things, like the names of the 2 lead roles. Arnold and Minnie. But it's better than that because there's also another character in it called the Incredible Mr. Shane, which just makes me even more curious about what this musical could possibly be. I mean, is he a magician? After having enjoyed singing at the ski resort so much, Troy begins to ask himself whether he wants to audition for the school musical, or even if he would be any good, which he does by performing a perfectly choreographed song. Meanwhile, worried that she might face competition, Sharpay begins to investigate Gabriella's past by using a website called Search the Internet, and she signs her up for the academic decathlon. Then it's time for the musical auditions, where Sharpay and Ryan absolutely stomp on the competition by singing What I've Been Looking For. And okay, the whole thing with this is that Sharpay and Ryan change the version of the song, and Troy and Gabriella sing the right version, but to be honest, Sharpay and Ryan's version is just better. Like, the movie wants you to dislike them, but the song is so catchy. Damn, she's got a lot of papers there. I hope she doesn't fall. Troy and Gabriella do a spur-of-the-moment audition and get a callback, which puts them in direct competition with Sharpay and Ryan. And so word spreads around the school that Troy, the basketball star, is auditioning for the school musical, which is crazy. Because he can't do that. You can only do one thing here at East High. Which brings up my favourite song in the entire movie. Genuinely, that's not a bit. Status Quo. I can't play the audio because I'll definitely get claimed, but imagine if you were just sitting having lunch and all of the kids around you just burst into song. The whole layout of the cafeteria is already kind of set up like a stage, so really there was no way the kids weren't gonna start singing. I mean, it had to happen eventually. And while we're on the topic of critiquing the East High cafeteria, why are there only like 7 tables in this massive high school? Like seriously, East High is huge, but there must only be like 40 kids there? Not a phone in sight. Just people living in the moment. Just like in Camp Rock, all the kids in High School Musical wear the Disney Channel teenager outfit, which is basically just the loudest clothes imaginable. But also like very generic looking, because you can't have any brands in it or things like that. Like this guy who's literally just wearing a shirt with the number 3 on it. Hey bro, nice shirt. What brand is that? 3.
We can do it!
Creme brulee.
So Zeke has a creme brulee in his pocket, just kind of ready to go. Anyway, I've spent way too long talking about this one scene.
Did you ever feel like there's this whole other person inside of you just looking for a way to come out?
Nope. Wait. She can't go in there. Pretty sure Miss Darbus could get into some really big trouble for just waltzing into the boys' changing rooms. And also, you know, just kind of a weird thing here. Why is Coach Bolton's office in the changing room? He just likes to keep a close eye on them. So as Troy and Gabriella prepare for their audition with Kelsey, everyone around them becomes increasingly frustrated with their involvement in the musical, for some reason. Sharpay and Ryan try and stamp out the competition. Chad and Troy's dad, Coach Bolton, become increasingly worried that Troy's becoming distracted from basketball, and the academic decathlon group are worried that Gabriella won't want to focus on that.
Ryan, we need to save our show from people who don't know the difference between a Tony Award and Tony Hawk.
So a plan is hatched to stop the 2 of them from auditioning.
Guys, come on. I mean, there's 12 people on this team, not just me.
Just 12? Oh, no. I think you're forgetting about one very important 13th member of our squad.
My dad.
Oh, Oh, that's who that was. So the plan that's hatched involves secretly recording Troy saying that singing and Gabriella isn't what's important to him, using a webcam quality that's way too good for 2006. And this whole plan is really mean. Like, it's actually a surprisingly horrible thing to deliberately try and make someone look bad like that. Damn, Disney. But anyway, Gabriella feels really betrayed by this, and then we enter into what is the worst song in the entire movie, which is Gabriella's I'm So Sad song. It's really just boring. The only thing of note that I wanted to say about it is it features this gigantic poster of Troy that they just have in their school, I guess, which is a bit much. But now Gabriella is very upset and Troy has to find a way to win her back. So he does what every teenager does in one of these movies, which is break into her house late at night.
Turn around.
And as a side note on Gabriella's house, again, High School Musical is another victim of something that's been a regular on this channel, beautiful home syndrome, which is of course where everyone's house is just massive. And in particular, I'm wondering why Troy's is absolutely huge, because I don't think his mum has a job, and his dad is a high school basketball coach, so I'm wondering where they got that sort of money. But Troy's plan works, and now they're back together preparing for the callback. But now there's even more drama because the championship basketball game between East High and West High has been scheduled for the exact same time as the audition and the academic decathlon. So Troy and Gabriella have to somehow find a way to do all of them.
All right, Wildcats, time for an orderly exit from the gym.
The plan involves members of the academic decathlon, hacking the basketball game so that Troy can run off and do the audition with Gabriella, because apparently they can do that. At their audition, Sharpay and Ryan sing an absolute bop to the top. And then it's time for Troy and Gabriella's audition, which is watched by everyone who came from the gym. So, no pressure. Breaking Free was the hit song from this movie, and I really have no funny comments to make. This is just good. And Troy and Gabriella nailed the song, and they get the leads instead of Sharpay and Ryan, who seem to also not be cast in any other roles in the musical, which really sucks for them, because this is like their whole thing. And after the song is finished, there's still the rest of the basketball game to play, which starts with a transition that really confused me as a kid. You mean they could just do that this whole time? But as you would expect, East High wins the championship game, and everybody celebrates and then gets together to sing the song We're All in This Together. And with that, that's my look at High School Musical. You know, I don't know why everybody thinks it's so strange that Troy wants to be in a musical, considering the entire school spends most of their time singing and dancing. I said it at the start of the video, and I'll say it again. People really underestimate just how big High School Musical was when it came out. I mean, this thing was a phenomenon. And you know what? For a DCOM, it's actually pretty good. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's goofy and it's cringy and it's clearly a product of its time. But for what it is, you shouldn't really be expecting Citizen Kane. It's better than that. It's High School Musical. But really, there's definitely a big nostalgia factor for me, considering I watched it so many times when I was super young. It's got a very easy, digestible message about staying true to yourself and being who you want to be. It's the right amount of not taking itself too seriously, and it's honestly surprising that a TV movie on Disney Channel managed to be this well put together. Thanks for watching my video on High School Musical. If I don't have too many problems with Disney, maybe I'll cover another one of these movies in the future. If you have any ideas for something to cover, be it a DCOM or something else, please let me know. But for now, if you like the video, please consider subscribing, and I'll see you next time.